Yep.
podcast. I know this is our second attempt at doing this,
Yeah.
but I'm glad we're able to work it out. Um, yeah, so I guess let's just kind of get right into it. You're over in Italy, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm in Italy at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm trying to see, look at options, where I could go with my music. And at the moment, I'm exploring a few places, especially what the sort of music possibilities are, and in terms of also getting people to play with me and the band.
Okay.
Because at the moment I'm mostly like a solo artist and
Yep.
trying to do like acoustic things. But I would love to basically have the option to split into and have a solo project, but also like a band one, I think.
Okay. Yep.
So
And
yeah,
if you were to have a band, what would be your role in that band? Would singer, guitar player?
I think it would be probably yeah, singer and rhythm guitarist, and would
Okay.
be like the logical, I think, passage between from a solo project to a band setting. And I
Yep.
think
Yep.
like the major difference would be the songs and the arrangements would be pretty different.
Okay.
And
All
yeah,
right, cool. Yeah, so I know you've got a few songs out now. I think your most recent one is Killing Time. Is that correct?
yep, yeah, correct, yeah.
Okay. Great. When did that come out?
So that was almost a couple of months ago, because it was the beginning of May,
Mm-hmm.
and it is my third single. So yeah, I can see that like it was very it was a good lesson for me, and also it was like a very exciting project because like for 1 year or more than 1 year, I stopped like with releasing stuff, and I was
Mm-hmm.
mainly sort of getting back to practice. I spent a lot of months like on rhythm and the right pronunciation, a
Yep.
lot of techniques with the right hand, for example.
Sure.
So yeah, it was like good to get back to like release music and songs, because
Okay.
I also have a lot of other unreleased stuff. But yeah,
All right. Awesome. Awesome. And right now you're doing mainly solo stuff. Um
yes,
so so those songs out there, do they have full instrumentation with them? Did you go into a studio and have somebody play drums and all that stuff?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm still yeah trying to. Most of these songs have like an acoustic core,
Mm-hmm.
and like you can hear that they have, especially the way they've been written. I think you can hear the solo element at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, but then especially the arrangement, I tried to see what like a band feeling could look like,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, going to the studio with other musicians, and especially for drums and bass.
Yep.
Yeah, I think what I would like to do, especially in the future for other songs, would be to like record a song in a room and just a couple of takes, and then if it needs obviously some adjustments, I will redo them like later. But
Okay.
I think capturing the feeling of a live room, I think it's a very sort of particular feeling.
Sure, sure. Okay. And how would you describe your music for those that haven't listened to your stuff yet? What genre would you put that in, you think?
I think that would be, for now, I would say classic rock
Mhm.
and alternative, especially. I'm trying to delve more into sort of the alternative rock and indie sometimes.
Mhm.
And I think for future songs, I would like maybe to explore a little better those genres.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, especially for this song, this Killing Time, I would say one
Yep.
of the major influences was definitely Tom Petty, and hearing, I think, especially his records around the 80s and 90s, I think
Mhm.
was a great inspiration for me.
Sure. Is he probably your biggest inspiration, Tom Petty?
Um, Biggest, I would say maybe Springsteen, as
Mhm.
I would say, especially for writing. and I feel like my writing mm, like really comes from that sort of raw um, engine, like Springsteen, Dylan, even Tom Petty,
Yep.
but Neil Young too. I think that sort of classic rock Americana
Okay.
feeling. Yep.
All right. Awesome. I'm curious how a young kid from Italy gets hooked on Tom Petty, Neil Young, Bruce Springsteen.
Well, I think yeah, that's a very good question, and I think it's probably because of my background. And most of the time, when I was a kid and growing up, I was constantly listening to English music, and
Hmm.
like fun enough, it was like the first time I was turning up the music on my dad's car. It was actually The Clash I was listening to,
Okay.
and it was very like different from what I looked at music in the first place. Like I always looked at music from like my mother's perspective
Hmm.
because she was a piano player and she studied classical music and all that sort of theory part of
Yep.
music. But like hearing The Clash and also AC/DC when I was 10 or 11, I think it
Nice.
really showed me like the other sort of face of the coin and also what music was also, and not just like piano or other instruments, but yeah,
Right.
the sort of the band feeling and rock music.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So, when you're writing music, what
Yep.
does that writing process look like? How do you begin to write a song?
Okay, so I would say that most of the time it's me sort of trying to practice with the acoustic guitar, and if I end up on a lick that I particularly like, or a chord progression, or sometimes it's just like a phrase that I'm playing and it reminds me of something. I think most of the time it's not actually looking for a new song or for a new part, but trying to practice and see um, what the instrument is communicating. And
Hmm.
I think picking up that sort of frequency, I think
Sure.
it's a good method, and it feels the most natural to me. Obviously,
Okay.
coming from being a guitar player, but
Right.
apart
Right. So
from that, yeah,
so you primarily start with music first, and then the lyrics come after.
yeah. Most of the time, I always like keep a document with all the lyrics that I have, and most of the time, even if I don't know, I'm at a cafe or on a train,
Hmm.
I don't know, I write some ideas down. Obviously, then when they um, uh, have like a song form and they become lyrics and not just random words or phrases, they
Okay.
obviously change. But yeah, most of the time is music first and then lyrics on top.
Okay, awesome. How did your music journey start? Like when did you start first getting into, playing music or writing music?
Okay, so it was like the very first time was yeah, actually just listening to music, but then was around the end of middle school and beginning of high school. I remember seeing a friend of mine at the time. He was like a very good guitar player, and I was really like hooked on the performance and like looking at him sort of shredding at the time and really um, playing very well. So
Hmm.
I wanted to sort of capture the same essence and the same feeling towards an audience. So yeah, just slightly after that, it was first few years of high school. I was 14. I picked up an electric guitar first. It was my uncle guitar, and then I just yeah, learned on that for 3 4 years, and
Okay.
then switched to my first guitar, like
All
a
right.
real one.
Right. Sure. Sure. That's awesome. What kind of guitar are you playing now? Like, what's the brand and style?
At the moment is mainly Telecaster, and
Hmm.
like when I was starting out with guitar, I was always playing like a either a Stratocaster model, or then when I shifted to like a better guitar model. I
Hmm.
always had a Stratocaster, and it was an Hendrix sort of version, like
Okay.
a signature model.
Yep.
But yeah, now I feel it's more like Telecaster, sometimes even Jazzmaster. And a
Okay.
few years ago, I also bought a Casino, which I really like.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, it has like a little more variety
Sure.
and yeah, but Stratocaster was definitely like a good model for a guitar.
Hmm.
But yeah, now yeah, I would say probably Telecaster is the one I prefer.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Have you had formal training? Like, have you taken guitar lessons or studied music in school or anything like that?
It was like private lessons for several years, something like 7 or 8 years.
Hmm.
And but it was very different from like a school method, in
Hmm.
the sense that I started out with songs I like and trying to figure out what was behind and sort of the backbone of the song. So
Oh, okay.
like I was playing the songs that I liked, but also learning theory. And
Hmm.
obviously, the first few years you don't really like theory, and I don't know, you feel like you're wasting your time with all that knowledge. But now I
Right.
would
Right.
say that theory is probably one of the most important things because not only like you really like know the guitar or the instrument, but I think it gives you the possibility to like expand your language, and also if you want to reach another area or you want to express a
Hmm.
different feeling, you know like what you're playing and exactly what you're doing. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For the longest time as a guitar player on my own, I always avoided trying to learn theory.
Yeah.
I just wanted to teach myself
Yeah.
by ear and learn the songs that I liked and all that stuff. And yeah, now 20, 30 years later, I'm regretting not learning theory earlier. I mean, I'm learning it now, but I just picture how much further I would probably be as a guitar player or a musician if I just stuck with learning theory earlier on, you
Yeah.
know? So,
I think there's also some things that don't really come from theory, and it's actually what I'm focusing on now. And I could, as I said, I think yeah, theory is a great tool, and obviously it gives you like the right palette and also the
mhm.
sort of the you know which way you're going. But
Right.
at the same time, especially as a like as an artist, I think performance is another great deal, and like the way you're conveying your emotions, I think, and it's almost like being an actor sometimes,
Mhm.
and I think it's another sort of very important factor in being a musician.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of performances, do you play out? Do you play live anywhere like in your local area?
at the moment, not really.
Mhm.
Actually, I have a show coming up in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
Um, but the last few months, not really. Like the
Okay.
um, especially in Italy, like music possibilities are a bit rare, I would say, and
Mhm.
it's a bit different from um, UK, for example, or America too.
Mhm. Yep.
There's I think the only sort of very musical places could be like Milan, for example. I
Mhm.
think it has a sort of good, mm, it's a good area.
Mhm.
But apart from that, I think if you're not playing some covers in particular or a certain genre, I think
Mhm.
it's a bit difficult to fit into this sort of group.
Sure. Sure. So
And
you're
yeah,
primarily an original artist, is that right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So you don't really play the cover songs at out in the
Um,
bars or anything like that.
I actually do, but obviously I'm trying to balance, especially when I write a set list. I'm trying to sort of balance the amount of originals and
Mhm.
covers. But
Yep.
yeah, I think it's sometimes like you can see that people are more drawn to covers, and
Sure.
they sort of want to hear the sort of most famous ones, and
Mhm.
just yeah. But I think if you're able to sort of balance that, then try to give space to the originals, but also to the covers. I think it's a
Yep.
good way of doing it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's the same way here in America.
Hmm.
I live in New Jersey, the southern part of New Jersey, so we're
Oh,
outside of Philadelphia. We're more of a suburb of Philadelphia rather than New York. Lots of times people hear
yep,
New Jersey, they just think of New York, but I'm closer to Philadelphia. And in this area, the
yep,
scene is very heavy with cover bands, tribute bands. You know, the audiences love to hear, like you said, they love to hear the songs that they know,
yep,
and that they can sing along with. So it's a little bit difficult to get some traction
yes,
if you're playing your own original songs.
hmm,
But there seems to be a growing community, at least in the area where I am, where original music's becoming more and more popular.
yep,
So it's so you're I'm trying to get a feel for what the music scene in your area looks like. It sounds like there's not a ton of opportunity exactly where you are, and then what
yep.
little opportunity there is, it's primarily cover music. Is that accurate?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
And I would say even though there's like most of them are like Italian songs,
Mhm.
sometimes there's space even for like English ones. And
Okay.
but especially in my hometown is more like dedicated to jazz, for example. And there's
Hmm.
actually various clubs that like only have jazz musicians.
Mhm.
So yeah, like if you're not part of that genre,
Yeah.
is a bit complicated, especially as a solo artist, I would say. And maybe
Mhm.
with a band, it could be easier. And I know
Right,
a
right.
couple of people that have bands, but yeah, they don't really have like a lot of opportunities and feel a bit stuck.
Sure. Sure. Is that why you're considering, maybe looking at other cities like maybe London or something like that to pursue a music career?
Yeah, yeah, and that yeah, actually, it's one of the main reasons why I when I was 18, just after school, I decided to move to London,
Mhm.
and I think it was sort of my one ticket, I would say, to chase my dream. And
Right.
yeah, if I'm lucky enough, I think I would have another shot, but
Okay.
especially because yeah, I'm still 22, so
Sure, sure.
there's
Yeah, you're
still
still young.
definitely time.
You've got plenty of time, that's for sure. When you were 18, you moved to London, is that what you said?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, and what happened there? How I mean, obviously you're back in Italy, so
Yeah.
how did what that journey look like?
Yeah. It was. Yeah. Sometimes it's even difficult to describe because um, could say that it was like a very different experience to everything I had before, and I think it showed me, apart from music, but even in sort of other areas of life, I think it showed me things in a completely different perspective. And
Mhm.
obviously, like 18, you're still a kid, and you like probably don't know how to do most of things. So it was like I think a good way of sort of grow up, but also to face some difficult
Mhm.
things as well.
Sure. Yep.
And especially like in a new place that is
Mhm.
also like a very sort of huge place.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of
And
competition in London as
competition.
well.
Yep, yep,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I spoke
Um,
with I spoke with Demetris Loizos, whom I think you're acquainted with. I
yeah,
don't know if are you friends with him on like a personal level, or do you just know him from Instagram?
mainly on Instagram, but
Mhm.
I was one of these shows a couple of years ago actually,
Oh, nice.
and I think from that time we started like speaking on Instagram,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
yeah, I think for a couple of months it was more like a mentor to me,
Yep.
and especially on like social media content,
Mhm.
and yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, great guitar player,
Yep,
and yeah, when I spoke with him, he talked about how competitive the London
yep,
music scene was, and he had told me how he put on a concert, sold tickets. I think they sold out, and
hmm,
still didn't really make. I think he said he might have lost money because he flew some
oh,
friends in from Greece for his band to play and all that stuff. So
yep,
it's just kind of strange how the music business is right now, where it's so difficult to make money.
Yes.
as a
Yep.
musician. You know, I mean, unless you're
And
like Ed Sheeran or Taylor Swift. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. It's very accurate what you said, and it's also like a very strange time, I would say, not only for music, but if we're talking about music, I would say, especially with the coming of AI.
Oh,
Um,
yep.
yeah, I think it's could be like a, I don't know, sort of loss for music, but also, yeah, it could be, yeah, even more sort of more difficult to see what's real and what's not, even
Yeah, for
in
sure.
songs or yeah, whatever it is, yeah, attached to
Yeah,
music.
it's pretty scary. I've spoken to a few people on this podcast about how AI works and how
Yeah.
accurate it can be, you know. And yeah, it's very scary. There's part of me that really just hopes that the public, the general public, is still going to have an interest in live music, like
Mm.
actually watching human beings perform on instruments
Yes.
and sing, you know, in a room. You
Yes. Yeah.
know.
And I don't know. Sometimes you could definitely say um like if we're talking about technology, for example, there's nowadays there's like a lot of instruments like MIDI instruments
Hmm.
that are not sort of real instruments, but they are played on a beat or on Logic
Yep.
or on softwares. So
Yep.
if you listen to the song that is made completely made with like MIDI instruments, you can really like spot many differences from like
Mm.
real instruments and like a room feeling or a live sort of setting. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think yeah, people definitely still want to see like mm, rawness, I would say, but also
Yep.
uh, real emotions, obviously. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think the
I'm holding on to
emotional
that.
part. Yeah, I think that emotional part is going to be what AI is missing. But
Yeah.
who knows? It might learn that too. You know.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think as it is now with like the situation with AI and the level of AI as well, I think yeah, it could pick up that and even if in a short time. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens,
Yep.
right? Okay, so you've got this song called "Killing Time" out. It's been
Yep.
out for a few months. Are you working on anything? Any other singles coming up soon?
Yeah, and yeah, I was actually preparing for this live show that I have in a couple of weeks, and
Hmm.
I'm trying a few songs, and one in particular, I'm thinking of releasing it by the end of the year.
Nice.
So yeah, at the moment I'm trying to sort of demo the song and try out a few different arrangements.
Hmm.
Isn't I think in the past, especially for Killing Time, I've always said like this precise idea. And even though I've tried different ways and methods, I still ended up on sort of the same arrangement, more or less.
Hmm.
But now, yeah, I'm trying to sort of be a little more free with ideas and see even things that I normally wouldn't try and see where they take me, basically.
Like what? Can you give me an example of maybe something
Um, yeah,
that
for
was out of your
example,
comfort zone?
yeah, exactly. I think, firstly, as you said, uh, being sort of try methods that will push me more out of my comfort zone and try methods like starting from a different instrument. Like, for example,
Oh, okay.
it's been
Hmm.
already, I would say, 2 or 3 years now that I'm learning piano.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't know, sometimes, yeah, start with a piano part instead of a guitar one or even a drum machine on Logic
Yep. Okay.
and yeah, try and see if, for example, I put a different part from for drums or for bass or another
Hmm.
instrument. See how the song changes and yeah, what different feeling it might convey.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's something I've been thinking about with my own writing. I speak
Mm,
to a lot of songwriters on this podcast, and everybody has
yep.
a different way of crafting a song and how it
Yep.
starts. And I've noticed a lot of people start with with a drum beat, which I've never tried myself. So I'm always
Yep.
I start with a melody in my head, or maybe I'm strumming stuff on the guitar. So I think maybe the next song I attempt to write, I think I'm gonna sit down with like just like a drum beat, and play around with
Yep.
them and see kind of what comes to mind and see if that produces something that might sound a little bit different than what I normally put out.
Yes, and sometimes another method that I've tried that I think is very useful, even on Logic, I think you could do this. It's by just plugging your guitar and then try as many even strange ones like effects that you can use,
Hmm. Okay.
and
Yep.
try like open a session and just try riffs or phrases.
Hmm.
And as I said earlier, I think instead of doing it with just one guitar, like an acoustic one, I think having like an effect and then a
Hmm.
guitar, an electric one, I think it could spark even different ideas and
Yeah.
take the
Yeah. It's
arrangement.
a whole new vibe, right? So it
Yeah,
could
yeah,
probably spark a different idea for sure. Yep.
yep, yeah.
Yep. Good point. Any plans for putting out a whole album, or are you just concentrating on singles for now?
Good question. And I was actually thinking about this last year, when I was sort of taking that break. Um, and I would say that after singles, like the most sort of logical thing to do would be maybe an EP.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to think about an EP, and I actually would have like enough material. But at the moment, my idea is more like trying to build like a real fan base, like a
Hmm.
sort of very committed one, and
Sure.
especially after each release, sort of build up on that.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would probably still wait on an EP. It's obviously one of the ideas I have, but
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Try to
Mm,
establish a loyal fan base. Because making an EP is probably going to cost more money than just putting singles out. You know what I mean? And then
yep,
you've got artwork, and then if you're going to make physical copies of it, like it's going to be a pretty hefty investment probably. So you're better off waiting until you've got a more loyal fan base
yep, yep,
that you can pitch that to.
and
And that's kind of where the music industry is now as well, right?
yep,
Most folks, even the very successful ones, are just
hmm,
putting out singles
yep,
because that's kind of what the attention span calls for, right?
yeah,
You could put out 10 songs and maybe only two or three of them really get listened to because
yep,
nobody really has time to go through the other seven or eight. you know
yeah. I
so I don't know.
There's actually I can't remember the name exactly, but there's a Neil Young podcast.
Mhm.
I probably think it's with Rick Rubin.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I remember, I think there's a phrase in particular that was always interesting to me. Um, he always said how sometimes he doesn't really care about sort of what other people might think,
Hmm.
especially when an album or a song comes out. I think he's obviously more drawn to um, sort of reaching that feeling, that sound, and whatever he wants to convey, but without um, thinking about sort of other people's opinions. And
Right.
I think this is becoming a bit rare, maybe,
I
in the
think you're
music
right. Yeah.
industry,
Hmm.
and especially like with the artist persona. And I don't see sort of many characters nowadays that have that sort of ability, that got to say, okay, I don't care about the sort of these
Hmm.
opinions, and yeah, I'm just releasing whatever I want.
Right.
And
Right.
you could see that because in the past there were songs that could be even 10 minutes sometimes.
Hmm.
And yeah, it can be difficult to hear a 10-minute song. But
Yeah. Yeah. It would
nowadays,
be very rare for somebody to release a 10-minute song nowadays, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Even if
Yep.
it's 4 or 5 minutes, it's already too long, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything
And
over three is looked down
yeah,
upon.
yeah, yeah, but
Yeah. It's
yeah,
it's very true. Like a lot of people, artists, musicians, a lot of them are just kind of
Mhm.
creating content for clicks and views
Yep,
rather than creating the stuff that stirs their soul.
yeah, yeah, and especially I think with platforms like TikTok, for example, which I think more than others. is able to like if you do the right things, I think is able to push like your music to
Mm-hmm.
other people and possible new fans.
Yep. Yep.
I think they are trying to. I think most new artists are trying to just build and create based on TikTok results
Mm-hmm.
and sort of the algorithm.
Yep.
But I think what is most important is probably being even effortless, I would say, in some situations, and just try to be um, authentic as much as you
Mm-hmm.
can, and
Yep.
just show your personality. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And I've heard a number of different stories where there'll be these musicians who may be TikTok famous, right?
Hmm.
But then they go
Yep.
to, somebody says, "Oh, let's put you on tour. You've got millions of fans on TikTok," and then they go on tour and nobody buys tickets.
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
so like it's
Yep.
the TikTok audience doesn't necessarily translate to filling a concert hall or an arena.
Exactly. And I think
So it's
yeah,
interesting.
it's actually what I was what I wanted to say earlier with the fan base point, in the sense that um, I think it's best to create like a loyal fan base in the sense that um, there's people that actually care and are looking forward to your next release and
Mm-hmm.
are
Yep.
listening to your music, because otherwise, as you said, uh, when you come to like if you're touring and or even if you want to put a show on,
Mm-hmm.
that would be yeah a lot very difficult to sort of
Yeah.
just
Mm-hmm.
not really sold out, but just to sell tickets and have people at
Right.
your show.
Yeah,
Yep.
I heard a theory. I don't know where it actually originated from, but and I'm probably going to get the name wrong, but it's like the 1,000 loyal fans theory.
Hmm.
If you can build
Yeah.
a fan base of 1,000 fans
Hmm.
who are true loyal fans, they
Yep.
basically, like you said, they're waiting for your next release to come out or whatever. And
Yep.
sure, built 1,000 is a high number, even though there are people out there with millions of TikTok and Instagram followers. But still, a
Yep.
1,000 true loyal fans is
Yep.
is is pretty heavy lift, right? A pretty difficult thing to do. But if you ever get there,
Hmm.
you get those folks to spend $100 a year on
Yep.
your product, your music, your merch, your whatever.
Yeah.
$100 a year,
And then
times 1,000 people. That's
exactly.
$100,000 a year. You're officially making a good living as a musician. Then, you
Exactly.
know.
And also actually like uh, actually people showing up at your concerts and like
Mm-hmm.
having people that will also be able to push like your songs
Right.
to other
Yep.
people and new fan bases. So yeah, I
Yep.
think that becomes obviously like a loop and a whole circle. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think obviously like nowadays something like TikTok and Instagram, I think, are also very good platforms, and in my case, I think are useful in the sense that
Mm-hmm.
if you feel a bit stuck with opportunities and in your local area, there's not really nothing going on. It's always, I think, good practice to, I don't know, put up videos
Sure.
and
Yep.
just see whatever performs the best.
Yeah, it is. It is really the only way to really
Mm.
promote yourself,
Yep.
especially Instagram for musicians. You've got a gig coming up. You said in a couple weeks. Where is that?
Yeah, it is in my hometown, and
Mm-hmm.
it's actually not too far from the area where there's a music school where I was taking vocal lessons for the past year,
Okay.
and like there's a music sort of venue
Mm-hmm.
not too far from there,
Nice.
and yeah, it will be just me opening for a band, but I still think it will be like a short set. I would
Mm-hmm.
say I'm expecting like 3 or 4 songs. But yeah, I still think it's a good opportunity, and yeah, especially for practice and just
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people I've spoken with, and just other people I've heard various interviews. It's a lot of it is just getting out and playing in front of people,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's how you establish a fan base, right?
yeah. It
You know.
yeah, it's almost like sometimes I think about like gym reps. It is very similar the way it
Mm-hmm.
works, and
Yep.
it's just building up sort of muscle memory sometimes with the
Yep.
way like you sing and you perform,
Yeah.
and the way sort of you convey the emotions as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And the whole theory of 10,000 hours to become an expert, right? The more you do it, the
Yep.
better it gets, and the more people latch onto it and all that stuff. So
Yes.
that's
Yep.
great. Okay, so is there anything else you wanted to kind of let my audience know? Oh, here, well, yeah, I do have one other question. Speaking of social media, how can people find you on all your platforms? What are your handles? What platforms are you on?
So the platforms are both Instagram and TikTok. I also I'm also working on YouTube content, and in the past few weeks I also worked on and uploaded YouTube content like live performances of Killing
Mm-hmm.
Time, a music video too, and you can sort of follow me searching up for DLP music, um, whatever. It could, yeah, on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Okay.
And
It's the Albi music.
yep, yep, exactly,
Okay.
yep.
All right, great.
And yeah, at this time, I'm more after Killing Time. I think I'll be sort of trying to expand on content as well, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to think about different videos. I think different hooks, but also sort of different kind of content, more experimental. And I think it will be useful to like expand my genre and my craft too.
Yep. Awesome. Awesome. Anything else you wanted to make my audience aware of? Or did we pretty much cover everything, or is there anything else you want to talk about?
Um, no, I think yeah, maybe just on the sort of background of sort of my story about London.
Hmm. Yep.
I think that might be the only point. Yeah, as I said before, like music was the sort of the main reason why I moved to a place like London, and yeah, I was lucky enough to like find I think also the right people. um, mm, I think in a bigger place, even in Italy actually, when you moved from like a smaller town to like a big city, it might be more difficult to establish and make like relationship last. But I think if you like find the right people, even with like work connections, it is easier.
Yep.
And I was lucky enough to find the right people with writing. And when
Hmm.
I moved to London, I was more like a just a guitar player. And at the beginning, I was sort of like attending evenings at like local pubs for like music jams, and like it was mainly like blues jams,
Hmm.
like playing to standards and this kind of stuff. But after a few months, like I was sort of talking to more people and knowing more. So yeah, I knew sort of these people, and I was approaching writing, and it was something I've never done before. And I think especially songwriting really opened up a new world to me,
Yeah.
and probably took me where I am now. So yeah,
That's awesome.
so
That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, it's important. It's certainly important to surround yourself with the right people, right?
yep,
People who are supportive, people who are going to make you better. You,
yep,
you, I have a theory that you don't really want to be the best musician in the room, right? You
yep,
want to, if anything, you'd want to be the worst. So then you can learn from the
yes,
other people in the room,
yep,
to help
yep.
lift you up,
Yep. I think
So
from a
that's great.
technical point, yeah, there is, and I think there'll always be someone that is sort of more technically skilled than you. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think sometimes it's more sort of focusing on like your abilities and what others don't have.
Hmm.
But yeah, especially things that are sort of more personal I think those are sort of the more important points.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So usually guests on the podcast will perform like a song or two. I don't know if
Yep.
you're prepared to do that, or if you have like a video that you want to just send me the MP4 of or the MOV file, and then I can tack it on to the end of this episode,
I
whichever you
actually,
prefer.
yeah, actually I have a couple of songs prepared for today.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yep.
one is actually Killing Time, and then I would like to perform the next single,
Okay.
which will be out probably between October or November. So,
All right.
yep.
Awesome. Well, Alberto, thank you very much for being on the podcast. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
thank you for the opportunity. Okay, so yeah, this first song is called Killing Time, and yeah, it's third single released, and yeah, it's probably one of my favorite ones. So yeah, here it is. Feeling down, hanging round, crashing into the ground. Watching trains roll through this dead end town. Don't mind me, I am just fine. I'm down, but I'm just killing time. Always knew this day was coming. It's always more frightening than it seems. This dark feeling I'm numbing. Felt lost chasing that empty dream. These times should never sleep by. Hanging round with you, staring into the sky. Old memories don't erase. Feeling down, hanging round, crashing into the ground. Watching trains roll through this dead end town. Don't mind me, I am just fine. I'm down, but I'm just killing time. Killing time. Never was a big thing. It's in your eyes. I see the truth in everything. And I am lonely now that you are gone. Why and how can I carry over? Feeling down, hanging round, staring to the ground. Watching trains roll through this dead end town. Don't mind me, I am just fine. I'm down, but I'm just killing time.
All right. Nice.
Thanks.
Very nice.
Okay, so this one's called "Why You Broke My Heart." Yeah, it's a particular song to me, and like I actually wrote it a year ago now, and yeah, it is probably one of the most personal ones I wrote, and yeah, it's definitely a special one to me. Okay.
Nice job, Alberto. Nice job.